We're gonna go to Matthew 5 and start at verse 17. All right. Matthew 5 and 17. Sweat. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 17. Think not. What does that mean? That means don't think. This is what you shouldn't think. Read on. That I am come to destroy the law. You understand? Christ said that I am come to destroy the law. Come to destroy the law. What is law? First of all, this is Christ speaking. Christ is speaking, and he's telling you not to think this, right? He said what he's not to think. That I am come to destroy the law. That he's come to destroy the law. What does it mean? Destroy? To put it into the existence of something. All right. The law. What is the law? The first 5 books of Moses that contain the law. The written law of Moses. Christ said, think not that I am come to do away with the law. You know what I mean? Why is this important? But before I go there, let's hold that, right? And let's see if I want to. It's solid. Stay right here. But now, let me finish reading though. Think not that I am come to destroy the law. So, like we said, what it mean if Christ did come to destroy the law? I mean that he would come. He came to put it into the existence. You know what I mean? But Christ did not do that. All right, let's read on. Or the prophets. Who are the prophets? Who are the prophets of old? You got Moses, you got Joshua, you got Ezekiel, you got Jeremiah, etc. All right. So Christ didn't do away with the law, and he didn't come to do away with the Old Testaments. All right, which is what the prophets was. That was before his time. Let's read on. I am not to destroy. So Christ is saying he did not come to destroy. This is why you should not think that he did come to destroy the law. You know what I mean? This is why you should not think Christ came to put it into law. That the law is now done away with. You know what I mean? Why do we think this? The reason why we think this as a people is because we listen to Christian pastors like T.D. Jakes, you understand, whose stance on homosexuality is evolving. You know what I mean? We listen to Creflo Dollar. You know what I mean? He's going to preach prosperity to you and tell you everything that you want to hear. You know what I mean? Like a good pimp does. So you can buy him a $64 jet. You understand? So you can buy him a $64 million jet. I mean, that's why. You know what I mean? We go to these churches and we think that these churches are, places where you learn about the Most High. But realistically, these churches are where you go get pimped out. You know what I mean? It's going to tell a harlot whatever she wants to hear to get whatever he wants from her. You know what I mean? With money or the draws or what have you. But tell her whatever she wants to hear. And the pastor knows that we want to hear that God loves you no matter what you do. You understand? Christ came and he died so that way we can sin. God is so good, give us grace. So now we don't have to keep the law no more. They're going to tell you whatever you want to hear just so they can get that money out of you. You know what I mean? So they can run your pockets. That's why they're going to tell you all that you want to hear. You understand? And we've been so foolish in going to these churches, man. Like, how you going to tell someone, that the law is done away with, and then that they pay tithes. You know what I mean? You going to demand pay tithes when tithes is a law that's found in the Old Testament. You know what I mean? Like that's the hypocrisy and the idiocracy in the Christian church. You know what I mean? And it's time we get up out of there, man. Like this right here, like this ain't me making this up. I'm not making up that, Christ didn't do away with the law. Like how, listen, don't believe me. Don't believe the Christian pastor. You know what I mean? There's no source more credible than Christ himself on this matter. Like who else are you going to go to find out if Christ did away with the law versus Christ himself? How can the argument even be posed any further? What is there even more to argue about on the matter? There's nothing else to talk about after you go to Matthew 5:17 and Christ tell you that he's not coming to do away with the law or the prophets. You can't, we don't read the Old Testament no more, you know what I mean? Because Christ came and whatever other mythological nonsense that you want to speak. You understand? I don't want to hear it after I read the words of Christ where he said that he did not come to destroy, to put it in to what the prophets laid down in the Old Testament. And he did not come to destroy the law. He did not come to put it into the law. Christ didn't come, that he wasn't sent on this earth to die, you know what I mean? To take the death for the nation. So that way you can shove pork in your mouth. You could put shrimp and lobster and whatever you want all down your mouth, man. I mean, Christ didn't come back so that way you can, you understand, another man's woman. He didn't come back, so he didn't die. Salakia, I said come back. You know what I mean? Christ didn't die so that way you can go and, whore off on your husband. Or be sexual and dress like a man and a man dress like a woman. Did Christ come and die so we can do these things? Like, if you just think about it, that sounds stupid. And you know what I mean? It sounds like it's like foolishness completely. If you really sit back and you assess what happened. You know what I mean? Like, you thinking about we was at odds with the Most High because we broke the first covenant. When you go to Jeremiah 31:31, it tells you that we broke the covenant with the Most High when he took us out of the land. You know what I mean? How do we break the covenant? By not listening to what the Most High told us to do. You know what I mean? Commandments, not adhering to the law, not listening to what Moses said. You know what I mean? Who the Most High was dealing with at the time. You know what I mean? Like, so how exactly does that make sense that now Christ comes on the scene at a moment where the Lord is not dealing with us, you know what I mean? And he dies so that way we can just continue to disobey what Moses laid down. You know what I mean? We can continue to disobey what Moses was instructing us to do from the Most High. But Christ comes on the scene and now he says that, I'm going to take this hit so that way y'all can still, get caught in adultery. You can still, be an alcoholic or, or a drug addict or what have you. You know what I mean? Christ came on the scene for that and he died for that. Like, be realistic. You know what I mean? That's fiction. That's fictional. You know what I mean? We got to think about the reality of what's going on here. Reality is that pastor, he just wants your money, man. That's the reality of the situation. You understand? So, with that being said, keep it pushing. Read on a little further, all right? For Sluggy, I'm going to draw it back a little bit. I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill. Like, listen, Christ came here, and before he went out, you know what I mean? Before he took the death, so that way the whole nation could return back to the Most High, you know what I mean? before he took that death, Christ did something very important. What did he do? He did something that, we not accustomed to inside of this kingdom that we're in. He did something marvelous. He did something very great. It was being an example on how to keep the law. Christ came and showed brothers and sisters how to be righteous before the Most High. You know what I mean? Like a good is going to lead you by their actions, by showing you what they do. You know what I mean? Like a scram going to tell you, don't do as I do as I say. You know what I mean? Like, what test is that? Like, how you going to tell someone, don't do as I do, just do as I say? Meaning, you're doing the wrong thing, so why would anybody ever listen to you? Nobody's going to listen to you. You can't, that doesn't make sense on any type of level. You know what I mean? Not even to the brother in the street. You can't be in the street dealing drugs, calling yourself an OG to some you got a Bentley parked outside the hood, and you from selling drugs, and then you on the corner that wants to find out how you got that Bentley, and you know what I mean, and get it just like you got it, not to sell drugs. He gonna look you a complete fool. You know what I mean, and he's going to go sell the drugs. He saw that you got it from getting it like that. You know what I mean? Like, that's that. You know what I mean? You got to lead by example. You know what I mean? For if you want to be a man of the Lord, the way that you're gonna have to lead is by example. You understand? So, with that being said, let's get a little more on that. Matter of fact, hold on 1 second. Make sure. Yeah, let's get a little more on that. Let's go to Matthew 5:18. For Salaki, and if I could, just one more. Matter of fact, I'm gonna hold that. Salaki. Let's read on. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass. Right? Till heaven is talking about the sky. You understand? That's what the heaven is talking about in this context. It ain't talking about some place, you know what I'm saying, you go to in the afterlife and you kick it with Biggie and Tupac. And it's talking about the sky. You know what I mean? The word heaven is manifold. Meaning it has more than one definition. You got heaven that's the sky. You got heaven that's space. And then you got where the Most High resides. You know what I mean? There's different heavens, but in context, the heaven that is speaking of is talking about the sky. All right? It says, until heaven and earth pass. What is the earth? Earth is what we walking on right now. You know what I mean? That's what the Bible refers to as, what some people would commonly call the world. You know what I mean? In the scriptures, it's the earth. That's what you walk on. All right? And it says, until heaven and earth pass. All right? Is the heaven and earth ever going to pass? Is the sun going to die out like some people say it's going to? And then the earth is going to freeze, and whatever other scientific theories on how, the planets and and the moon is going to drift away and what have you. Is the earth and the sun ever going to go away? No, it's not. Let's read on. And we're going to prove it. One jot, or one tittle, meaning what? A crossing of the T or the dot or a dotting of the I. Let's read on. Shall in no wise pass from the law. So a crossing of the T or dot I shall in no wise pass from the law. You understand? Until the heaven and the earth pass. Now let's hold that. We're going to hold where we at right here. Let's hold Ecclesiasticus 7 and Salakia. Matter of fact, Ecclesiastes Salakia 1. Take this. I always do. I gotta get some Frank up in there, man. You know what I mean? But Let's go to Ecclesiastes 1 and verse 4. All right. Ecclesiastes. So a lot get built with me. 1 and 4. All right. There we go. Boom. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 4. All right. One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh. Right? One generation passeth away. So what does that mean? That means you have a man that grows elderly, and in his seniority, he perishes. You understand? From old age. He dies from old age. But before he died, he had sons that could carry on his name. You understand? So that's why it says, and another generation cometh after. You know what I mean? His sons, his descendants to carry on his lineage. You understand? Let's read on. But the earth abideth forever. The what? The earth abideth forever. You know what I mean? Till heaven and earth pass. The earth abideth forever. You know what I mean? The law is not done away with. You know? And the earth will abide forever. Meaning what? The earth is going to be here forever. It's be here forever. You know what I mean? Be no media collision that, you know, disintegrates the entire earth. It's not gonna be, you know, whatever mess that nuts is into right now. You know what I mean? On how the earth is going to, you know, blow up or explode or be taken out of existence. Son, let's read on. The sun also riseth. You know what I mean? The sun also, you know what I mean, rise. So the sun rises. Let's read on. Where's that? Salakia. And the sun goeth down. So the sun rises and the sun goes down. No sweat. Sunrise, sunset. And hasteth to the place where he rose. Meaning the sun ain't gonna go down for that long. You know what I mean? It doesn't go away. It comes right back. You know what I mean? You got nighttime. It's going to get dark outside in about 30 minutes. You know what I mean? But lo and behold, you're going to go to sleep and you're going to wake up and the sun is going to be outside. You know what I mean? It's not going anywhere. The earth is not going anywhere. The sun is not going anywhere. All right? Meaning what? Let's go back to Matthew 5 and 18. All right? So let's start at 18. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass. Right? Now we already established that the heavens and the earth is not going to pass. You know what I mean? Heaven, what you see in the sky, you understand? The sun, the stars, the moon, right? Heaven and the earth we walking on, they're not going to pass away. You understand? They here to stay for as long as the Most High says so. You understand? Which is, on these circumstances, forever. One jot or one tittle, crossing the T, dotting of the I, shall in no wise pass from the law. You know what I mean? Shall in no wise pass from the law. Simple and plain. Like, T.D. Jakes, like, I just watched something today on that cat, man. Like, that's what's so, this is why we got to stay out these churches, man. These churches are destructive. They ain't no different than a Negro that just, you going to church is the equivalent, and going to T.D. Jakes' church at that is the equivalent to you picking up the Bible and reading it, trying to get understanding. You know what I mean? Because I seen where he came out, the cat came out and said, you know, something about his stance on homosexuality or the LGBT is evolving. You understand? Meaning what? Meaning that his stance right now is, he doesn't support gay marriage. However, there could come a day, you know what I mean? Meaning in the future where his pre-existing understanding of homosexuality as it pertains to the Bible can change because he is evolving. His stance on homosexuality is evolving, meaning things that are going, things that he's reading, or I don't know, maybe things he's reading or he's seeing are changing his perspective on homosexuality. So he's evolving. You know what I mean? The same way you can read the Bible and you can evolve too. You can think the Bible means one thing today and think it means another thing tomorrow. You know what I mean? That's what's so and beautiful about the ISUPK. You know what I mean? What's so wonderful and beautiful about us is that we are unchanged since 1969. And we don't intend to change. You understand? We do not intend on changing at all. You know what I mean? Our pre-existing stance on the scriptures is going to be our future stance on it. You know what I mean? We don't waver in our belief. You know what I mean? We're not, you know what I mean? We hot on this thing. You know what I mean? These cats is in the middle. You know what I mean? They lukewarm with it. You know what I mean? We all the way on one side. The Lord is not dealing with it. And UPK is unchanged since 1969. You know what I mean? What we teach, we'll teach until heaven and earth passes. You understand? That's what we're going to teach. We'll teach the Christ. Is there ever going to be a day that think Christ's skin color was actually white? No, there will never come a day where our stance on the color of Christ will evolve into him being a white man. That day will never come. Will a day ever come that we change our stance on immaculate conception? No, we will never change our stance. There will never come a day where our stance on immaculate conception evolves and we now say that, you know what, God did artificially inseminate Mary. You know what I mean? That day will never come because we are unchanged since 1969. And we're going to teach the same thing until heaven and earth pass. You understand that? Your Christian pastor will evolve. He'll change in his belief. You know what I mean? What does that mean? If it's one thing you got to know, is when somebody tell you a lie, the lie always change. You understand? But when somebody tells you the truth always stays the same. You understand that? Now check this out. Now, if your pastor's stance on the Bible is always changing, then what does you? That tells you that your pastor doesn't have the truth. You know what I mean? And you should leave that Christian church because you're going to the church to get the truth about God. I hope you understand. And he don't have the truth. You know what I mean? Because he doesn't. His stance is constantly evolving on the scriptures. You know what I mean? One day you'll get this, the next day you'll get that. You supposed to be going to this cat for spiritual guidance. You should be going to this cat for, your morality's sake, on how to be moral before the Most High. You know what I mean? So he can tell you something in error one day and then have a change. Maybe he told you to leave your husband. You know what I mean? Maybe he told you to put away what they teaching up in there. But listen, maybe you could leave your husband. Now, you wouldn't did that. You know what I mean? A few months down the line, he tells you can't leave your husband because God said so. this you know what I mean, effect that they have on our lives. And that's how serious it is. You know what I mean? They don't care about you. That's why they don't care about how it affects you. You understand? They don't care about how what they are to you affects your life. You know what I mean? The only thing they care about, I'm telling you, the only thing they care about is your money. Making sure that your money goes inside of their bank account, goes inside of that collection plate, and they can buy a multi-million dollar house, multi-million dollar jet, or six-figure vehicles, all these things, while you starving. You can't pay your rent. You understand? It's disrespectful, man. I mean, absolutely disrespectful. But with being said, did we rock that thing? Yeah, we did that. You understand? So, let's read on though. All be fulfilled. Now, get it in on what exactly that means till all be fulfilled, all right? You understand? Let's see if I want to go there yet. So before I do that, what do we talk about? What does it mean when it says to all be fulfilled? This is talking about future prophecies concerning Christ. And to all the future prophecies concerning Christ are fulfilled. You understand? So, Salakia, with that being said, let's drop that. Matter of fact, we could drop that. Let's drop that and go to Luke 24 and 44. All right. Let's go to Luke 24 and 44. You know, man. Salakia. I'm going to check the YouTube too real quick. You know what I'm saying? So y'all bear with me. You know me, I got to be multifunctional. You understand? Right now. So 24. Multitask. So 24 and 44. Alright. No sweat. I get that. I'm going to check this joint right quick. You know, man. Yeah, so Rock, he put them attendance link in on the YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So definitely if you're doing your 90 days, you know what I mean? Whether you a sister or a brother, you doing your 90 days and you want to get your Hebrew name, or you fill out that attendance sheet. If you don't fill out that attendance sheet, you're not going to get accredited for, your attendance. You won't get towards your 90 days. So, I mean, definitely fill that thing out. All right. And we solid on there. You understand? We solid on that. Hold up. See, somebody something. Let me check it out. No. Oh, no, I'm trying. No sweat. You know what I mean? So y'all rock with me. We're going to get this. On Salaki. Please on it a little strong. All right, let's get it. Oh, flip on page back, Salaki. Luke 24. That all things must be fulfilled. So now, what is this talking? So now Christ is about to explain what he was talking about when he said that all things must be fulfilled. Let's read on. Which were written in the law of Moses and in the prophets and in the Psalms concerning me. You know what I mean? That's what it's talking about. When you see in Matthew 5 and 18, when it says until all be fulfilled, it's talking about all the future prophecies, the foretellings that were recorded about Christ in the Old Testament. You understand? That's what it's speaking of. All right. And when you go to Isaiah 53, the coming of Christ, that was prophesied in Isaiah the 53rd chapter. You understand? So some future prophecies pertaining to Christ have come to pass. However, all have not. You know what I mean? And we'll get one real quick. Let's go to Isaiah 66 and 15, all right? Isaiah chapter 66. And Slovakia. No. We in. There we go. 66 and 15. All right, let's get it. Slovakia. Tripping. Isaiah chapter 66 and verse 15. Behold, the Lord will, and with his chariots, like a whirlwind, to render anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. You know what I mean? What is this talking about? This is talking about the return of Christ. You know what I mean? You read in the New Testament, it tell you that Christ will come in the clouds. You know what I mean? Christ is going to come in the clouds and, you know what I'm saying, crack that sky with 200 million angels of the Lord to execute the Most High's vengeance. You know what I mean? That's talking about, you know what I mean? It say the Lord will come with fire and with his chariots like a whirlwind. You know what I mean? Them chariots, you know what I mean? They get it in. You understand? To render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire. You know what I mean? They gonna set it off when Christ come back, man. You know what I mean? You watching Independence Day and all of these movies with depictions of so-called UFOs, and you observe how they wreaking havoc on the earth. You know what I mean? Well, that right there, that's a depiction that they extracted from the scriptures. When Christ and the angels return, you know what I mean? But Christ and the angels have not returned, and you know what I mean, the chariots of the Most High have not executed the Lord's judgment on this earth. You know what I mean? So all has not been fulfilled. World War III hasn't been yet. You know what I mean? All the future prophecies in the Bible have not come to pass yet. You understand? So the law is still in full effect. All right. And with that being said, we'll switch over to let's bounce over to Romans 7 and 1. I'm gonna come back to Christ on the matter, but right now we're gonna jump over to Romans 7 and 1. All right. Y'all let me know y'all rocking with me on that. Romans chapter 7 and verse 1. Know ye not, brethren, for I speak to them that know the law. You know what I mean? Know ye not, meaning do you not know this, brethren, brothers? You know what I'm saying? This is Paul. He talking to who? Paul is talking to so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. You understand? He talking to the Israelites. All right. His brothers, because Paul was an Israelite from the tribe of Benjamin. All right, Paul wasn't no heathen. He wasn't somebody that was a non-Israelite that converted into being an Israelite spiritually. Paul was an actual descendant of Israel. All right. And his brothers were the Israelites because that's the nation that he belonged to. All right. Let's read on. I speak to them that know. Now, the way Paul spoke, he didn't speak in a simplistic form so that he could understand what he's saying. Paul spoke to, that understood the law. You know what I mean? That's the way that he spoke. Like certain things he was saying, if you didn't understand the law, you would not understand. And that's why when Christians read the Bible, you know what I mean, they don't understand what Paul's saying. You know what I mean? Their stance will constantly evolve because they don't know the law, because they don't. Most Christians don't read the Old Testament. You know what I mean? Which is where the law is contained. You know what I mean? You want to get to the basic nature of the law. You know what I mean? You get up in them first 5 books of Moses. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? That's all it's contained. So, I mean, they don't read it, and that's why they don't understand the Bible, and they teach you that the law is done away with. Okay? So let's read on. How that the law have dominion over a man. Right? The law have dominion, meaning the law has what? What is dominion? Dominion is rulership. The law rules over us. It will always rule over us. You know what I mean? Let's read on. As long as he liveth. So this is how long the law is applicable to you. You know what I mean? This is how long, you know what I mean, law is of relevance and importance to you. How long? As long as he liveth. You know what I mean? As long as you live, that's as long as you are required to keep the law. You understand that? That's as long as as long as you're alive, you are not able to smoke weed. You understand? You are not able to sip lean and pop Molly. You know what I mean? You are not able to slide up and down a stripper pole and break your neck. You understand? You're not supposed to do them things because that is unlawful. And as long as you live, the law is in full effect and applies to you. All right. Let's read on. Oh, matter of fact, that was pretty much it. But basically, if you read on, you know what I'm saying? Like you'll see an example of it. I guess I'll read that. For the woman which hath an husband is bound by law to her husband. Right? A woman that has a husband is bound by law to her husband. Meaning what? Meaning when that woman comes with that man, you know what I mean? It's according to the law of the Lord, that woman is unable to leave that man. All right, she has to stay with him. Once she legs up, and that man goes inside of her, and she becomes his wife, then she has to stay with him. There's no, having multiple sex partners. You know what I mean? And dealing with multiple people in a sexual manner as a woman. You understand? You got one husband, you pick him, and you with him for life. Let's read on. Bound by the law to a husband, so long as she liveth. Like, you know what I'm saying? Until you die. You understand? Like, this isn't, marriage is a very serious thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's something that is misunderstood and, it's a thing that's very misunderstood. The seriousness of, having sex is misunderstood in the churches. You know what I mean? The only way it's viewed as important is if you go through the America's system for marriage. That's the only way sex is viewed as something important. You know what I mean? When who you laying down with even matters now. The only way it matters is if a man puts a ring on your finger. You understand? That's the only way it matters. If a man puts a ring and you walk down the aisle and you sign the papers and now, you are what is deemed as legally married. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the case. Sex is marriage according to the scriptures. You know what I mean? Now if you look at it like that, now it's a whole different ball game. You understand? It's a whole different ball game. You have to be responsible in who you choose to lay down with, because it's going to be, especially for a woman, it's going to be the last person that you lay down with. You understand? So, that's why a lot of our women out here are harlots, because, your pastor never taught you. The TD Jakes don't teach you that. You know what I mean? Creflo Dollar doesn't teach you that. You know what I mean? He'll probably teach you to screw everybody to get to the top. You know what I mean? And pray that Jesus for you. But that is not the case. You know what I mean? If you're a woman, you lay down with a man, that man penetrates you, you understand? And you are that woman, you are that man's woman for the rest of your life, and you cannot have any more sex partners. All right, let's read on. And that's the law. Let's read on. So long as he liveth, but if husband be dead, she is loosed from the law of the husband. You know what I mean? The only way that a woman, can lay down with a man, and then get another man is if her husband is, he dies from whatever cause. If he's murdered, or, he dies of natural causes or what have you, or an accident on the slavery. Maybe he's in construction and he suffered an accident and he died like that. You know what I mean? And the sister, 30 years old, and, she's not bound by that to that brother no more. You know what I mean? Because he's dead, she can go and get a man if she requires another man. You know what I mean? If she need Rod, you know what I'm saying? Then that's what she can go do. It's nothing wrong with her doing that. All right. But let's see. I don't want to get too drawn off. Let's read. We'll read on. So then, if while her husband liveth, she be married to another man, she shall be called an adulteress. I mean, she shall be married to another. If while her husband liveth, what does that mean? If she have sex with another man, you know what I mean? And now, that's his woman now. You understand? She shall be called adulteress. That's what adultery is. When a married woman, when a woman who has a husband sleeps with another man, that's called adultery. Or when a man sleeps with a woman who has a husband, that's also adultery. But in this case, it's, talking about the woman. So with that being said, let's read on. But if her husband be dead, he is free from that law, so that she is no adulteress, though she be married to another man. Just like I was saying. You understand? Like, we are supposed to keep these laws. You understand? We're supposed to keep these laws regardless of the situation that we in. You know what I mean? Regardless if, we have a Levitical priesthood or somebody to execute, judgment for us transgressing or breaking that law. I mean, we are still required to keep this law. You know what I mean? It's no way around it. It's no getting around. That's why the scriptures say, them without law shall also perish by the law. You know what I mean? Paraphrase. Shall also perish without the law. Them without the law shall also perish without the law. You know what I mean? Now that sounds a little twisted, but that's because Paul is speaking to them that know the law. You know what I mean? Now what does that mean? That them without the law, right there, boom. That's talking about the Levitical priesthood, like I was saying, that will execute the judgment, that'll stone you to death. You know what I mean? Or execute you in whatever fashion that was, in relation to that, for the punishment, whatever punishment was associated with that crime that you did, that you committed, that would be what the Levitical priest will execute. You know what I mean? Whether it be stoning you to death or what have you, or chopping your head off, or driving a sword through your gut, whatever. You understand? Death. But we don't have that law no more. There's nobody that's gonna kick in your door because you know what I mean, you eating pork. You know what I mean? Because you got pork chops frying on the stove. There's nobody gonna kick in your door because you're doing that. There's nobody that's gonna kick in your door and you know, when your husband's at work, you know, in your house alone, and you have another man sneak in the house. There's no, you know, Haitian brother that's gonna kick in your door and put you to death if he catches wind of it. You know what I mean? But them without the law shall perish without the law. You know what I mean? Meaning what? Meaning you there's nobody gonna kick in your door that's a Levite that's specifically has the profession of executing the judgment. However, there will be punishment from the Most High for your actions. You understand? Like, meaning what? Meaning nobody might not kick in your door and, you know, chop your head off and eating, frying up pork chops. You know what I mean? On Sunday worship for the pack. But you're going to eat them pork chops, and then you know what's going to happen? You're going to have high blood pressure. You understand? That's what's going to happen. You're going to high blood pressure, and that's a judgment from the Most High. You understand? You're going to wait till your husband is at the slavery and sneak another man in there, and for some reason he's going to get off early. For whatever reason. He's going to get off early. He's going to find you two in the bed. And what's going to happen? He's going to kill both of you. You know what I mean? And the spirit will be put on him to do that. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? You smoking cigarettes, or, you know what I mean? You blowing a pack of Newports or what have you. That's no sweat. You know what I mean? In the long run, you'll get cancer. You know what I mean? You'll be diagnosed with cancer. You know what I mean? You'll have a hole in your throat. All your teeth will fall out your head. You understand? Like, that's on. You'll perish without the law. The law has dominion over us. It rules over us as long as we live. I mean, so being said, let's go to Romans 6:1. Shalakia, let's go to Romans 6:1. What shall we say then? Now, this is Paul again. All right. What shall we say then? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? You understand? Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound? Now, what is grace? All right. Let's think about a grace period. A grace period is a time that you have to get yourself right. All right. Now, there's a misconception of what grace actually is, and grace is actually said to be, a period where we can do whatever manner. It's said to be a green light to sin. You know what I mean? That's what it is. You know what I mean? Grace is promoted as a green light to sin. As a green light to eat, because we have grace. You know what I mean? Christ died for us, brother. And we got grace now. You understand? We got grace, so we could eat that pork. We could eat that shrimp and that lobster. We could tell a little white lie. You know what I mean? We could do these things, brother. Because we under the grace. We not under that law no more. No sweat. You know what I mean? But what did Paul say? You know what I mean? Paul said, what shall we say then? Shall we, so like, let me read it. I'm saying it without look. Shall we continue in sin that grace may abound. So keep sinning. You know what I mean? Because we have a grace period, which you do have, to get yourself right before the Most High. Because we have that grace period, should we continue to sin, you know what I mean, that grace should abound. That we should have an abundance of grace. That we should have grace forever. You know what I mean? We'll have an endless amount of grace. You know what I mean? There's no limitation to it. Is that the type of mentality you should have when, you know, when thinking about grace? No, it's not. You know what I mean? Grace is a time period to get yourself right, and exactly that. You know what I mean? It's not you to make an occasion of the flesh. You understand? But let's drop down to 15. What then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law? Meaning what? Shall we sin because we are not under the law? What does that mean? We are not under the law. Does we are not under the law mean that, you know, we don't have to keep the law? No. This isn't a suggestion either. You know what I mean? This is let's read it on. What shall we say then? Shall we sin because we are not under the law but under grace? What is a sin? A sin is a transgression of the law. All right, no sweat. Boom. Under the law but under grace. But we're under grace. You know what I mean? Now, what is law in this context? The law in this context is that Levitical priesthood. We not under the Levitical priesthood that will come kill you for breaking the law of the Most High. All right? But because nobody is going to kill you, should you continue to sin? You know what I mean? Because you're not going to have to face death, you know what I mean, in an execution style. You know what I mean? Should we continue in sin? But under grace, God forbid. You know what I mean? We're not under the law. We under grace. Nobody's going to come kill you for breaking the law. Why? Because you have time to get yourself right. You know what I mean? You might be addicted to Newports. You understand? You find out the truth, and now you like, dang, I got to stop smoking these Newports. Every time you smoke the Newports, it's a sin. You understand? It's a sin every time you smoke one of them squares. But is somebody gonna come kill you? No. But you fighting that demon to not smoke the pack of Newports. You know what I mean? That's why nobody's gonna come. That's why nobody's coming to kill you, because you got that time period to fight that demon off you. You understand? And then eventually, you know what I mean, you won't be blazing no more squares. You know what I mean? You done fought the demon off. You know what I mean? You went from a whole pack to a half a pack to, 5 to 3, 2, and then 1, and then none. You know what I mean? That's why. But should you look at it like, well, grace, I'm under grace. So because I'm under grace, nobody's going to come kill me for breaking the law. I'm going to just smoke these cigarettes. I'm going to just keep blazing these joints for a while. You know what I mean? And then eventually I'll stop. Should you procrastinate in, fighting that demon? No, you should not. You should try to conquer that demon immediately. You know what I mean? Because you don't know when Christ is going to return on top of that. You understand? You don't know when Christ going to crack that sky open, man. I mean, and execute the vengeance on this earth. You don't want to get caught up in that wrath. You understand me? Let's get a little more, all right? Throw 2 joints up in there. Let's go to Baruch 4:1. Baruch 4:1. Baruch chapter 4 verse 1. This is the book of the commandments of God. You know what I mean? This is the book of the commandments of God. This is the book of the orders that the Most High gave, all right? And the law that endureth forever, done away with. The law that endureth forever. We under grace, so we don't gotta keep the law, brother. The law that endureth forever. You know what I mean? This law is not going anywhere until heaven and earth pass. You understand? The law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life. You know what I mean? Everyone that keeps the law, they gonna come to life. You know what I mean? But such as leave it shall die. You know what I mean? You're not living until you start keeping these laws of the Lord. You understand? You're not really living. All right? Spiritually, you you're alive, but you're not living. You understand? Spiritually, you're dead. If you don't, once you leave the truth, you die. You know what I'm saying? You find the truth, you come into the truth, you get raised up in the truth, you alive, brother. You understand? You alive, sister. Now you living. You know what I mean? Now you know what it means. Now you know what it means to be free. You know what I mean? Free from the wicked clutches of our oppressor, man. You know exactly what it feels like to be a free brother, a free sister. And that feeling right is priceless. You know what I mean? But just drop that. Let's go to Ecclesiastes now. Let's go to Ecclesiastes. Back to Ecclesiastes. All right. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. All right. Ecclesiastes 12 and 13. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter, right? Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. You know, should we do we have to keep the law? Does Christ know your heart? You know what I mean? I mean, the Most High know your heart. You know, does Jesus know? You know what I mean? Let's see. Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. We have to keep the law. You know what I mean? Is it something that we have to do? I don't think we had to do it. As long as you know what I'm saying, you do good. You know what I mean? As long as you do good, then you should be all right. Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God, right? Fear the power. You know what I mean? Fear the Most High power. And keep his commandments. And keep his commandments. Keep his commandments, law, statutes, and commandments. All right? For this is the whole duty of man. This is the whole duty of man. You know what I mean? This is the meaning of life. Of life is to keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You know what I mean? So how dare you profess yourself to be a man of the Most High and have the audacity to teach brothers and sisters that come in sincerity to learn about, you know what I mean, what the Lord requires of them. How dare you take away from them what is so holy and righteous, man? And knowing that they whole duty, they whole purpose for life, for living, is to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. You understand? Like you are depriving, you just, you know what I mean, you depriving the brothers and sisters of something so great. You know what I mean? Depriving them of something wonderful. that they should have, and knowledge that they should have, and the understanding that they should have about the Most High. You know what I mean? And you're sick and you're twisted and you're greedy. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? It's it's just distasteful on how these cats deal with our people, man, and rob them blind. But let's listen, man. That game that they running on us, oh man, that game that they running on us is horrible. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, you play it. I don't know, but listen, you play somebody and they begin to believe what you saying about when you playing them. I mean, that's when you got them. That's when you got them good. You understand? You got them nice and right where you want them when they start to just think like you want them to think. You understand? And that's what's going on here. Like now, because we've been, brainwashed. I don't want to say brainwashed. You know what I mean? Our minds been so, destroyed and so, made to be so filthy before the Lord by these Christians. Now we just thinking like we thinking the way that they want us to. And it's horrible, man. Like, we putting up a fight for the evil that they taught us. You know what I mean? Because we don't want to let it go. When the best thing for us to do is to let it go. We should want to let go of everything that they taught us, because clearly, evidently, it's not working. You know what I mean? Our people are still in poverty. You know what I mean? Black people, they saying blacks, Hispanics, Indians are contracting the coronavirus at, a much higher rate than, white people or any other nation of people. You know what I mean? We contracted coronavirus more than anyone else, they say. Now, we gotta get away from that, man, because they have led us to error. But we gonna drop that, and let's go to 1 Timothy 4:1. All right, go to 1 Timothy 4:1. Now, the 1 Timothy chapter 4 and verse 1. Now the Spirit speaketh expressly. Speaketh what? Expressly, meaning what? Explicitly. All right. That in the latter times, right, some shall depart from the faith. Meaning what? Some brothers and some sisters, you know what I mean, in them last days, they gonna leave the truth. All right. Giving heed, paying attention to, you know what I mean, because they gave their attention to seducing spirits, because you listen to that teaching, man, because you listen to him with his ever evolving doctrine. You understand? Good night, man. You know what I'm saying? Why the scriptures say ever learning and never able to come truth. You know what I mean? That's a point for that cat right there. Ever learning and never able to come to the truth. But we giving heed to seducing spirits. You know what I mean? He's seducing us into listening to what he is saying. You know what I mean? You're going to leave the truth. You know what I mean? First of all, because you're not getting rooted in there. That's why you got to get up in these classes. You following orders that the brothers give you. You know what I mean? If a brother tell you come all black, come in all black. You know what I'm saying? You do days, tell you to fill out that attendance sheet. Make sure you fill out that attendance sheet. You told to check in with camp leader, check in with your camp leader. You know what I mean? Pay attention to what these brothers is telling you to do. You know what I mean? If you don't, you understand? you could easily fall weak and fall out of the truth and give heed to seducing spirits. You'll fall for some cat that you like the way he's talking. You like what he's saying. You know what I mean? Not because it's what the truth is, but because you like the way he jumps up and down. He jump up and down, and he slides across stage on his knees and what have you. And you know what I mean? He jumping and he got the piano playing in the background and what have you. You know what I mean? And he's screaming to the top of his lungs, Jesus, and all kind of crazy, man. It's like I don't even understand halfway why they be talking like that. You know what I mean? Like you want to, scripture say speak plainly. You know what I mean? Like I don't understand what the whole elevation and amplification and mute going talking real low like my name, Jesus, and then screaming. You know what I mean? Like bringing it down. Like they trying to do something to you. That's how it's a game that they trying to run on you. They trying to hustle you in what they doing. You know what I mean? They doing all that crazy shaking and you know what I mean and what have you. They seducing you. That's all they doing. They know you like to sing. They know you like to dance or what have you. They know you want to see a show. And when you go there, they give you that show that you want to see. And because they telling you what you like to hear, and they doing it how you like, you're gonna go ahead and you're gonna slide and bang that tambourine in that church, man. You're gonna sing on the choir next to that what's his name? I'm trying to find. You're gonna sing on the choir next to them LGBT cats. You know what I mean? And good night.